Hi everyone, my name is Harsh and I'm a yoga practitioner and teacher, and I'm going to share with you a few thoughts about the moon today. So the word in Sanskrit that we have for the moon is Chandra, and actually Chandra is not just the only word we have a lot of words for the moon. If we see it, this dictionary Amarkosha, it gives us 25 different names for the moon. Himanshu, Shashank, Shashadhara, and we can see these names like Shashank, Shashadhara are given because we find certain aspects of the moon. That is Shasha, Dhara means to hold, and Shasha means rabbit, one who holds the rabbit. So many of us see a rabbit in the moon as well. So different names for the different aspects and the properties we can say of the moon. Another one is relate to Soma, because Soma and Chandra both come in the Veda and they give us a lot of understanding about our own selves. So that's so much for the moon from the Vedic perspective as well. If we see from a grammatical perspective, the word Chandra comes from the root word, the dhatu, chadi, which means to shine brightly, like or. So this is one of the meanings of the root word of Chandra. In astrology, Chandra is related with the mind. It's the karaka for the mana. So a lot of emphasis about the person's mind comes from where the moon is placed in the person's chart. Well, to understand the energy of the moon and how it impacts us all, we must understand the phases of the moon. That is the waxing and the waning of the moon. And why does this happen? So there's a beautiful story that we have from the Mahabharata. And in that it tells us the story about Chandra and his wives. Now, Chandra has 27 wives, and these are the 27 nakshatras. So he has a favoring towards one of them, towards Rohini. And all the other wives are disheartened by this, and they complain to Daksha about this. That is their father. So nothing really happens. And this goes on for some time, and they complain again, and then they complain for the third time. And now Daksha is angry, and he curses Chandra for this doing. And the curse that he gives is basically he will be consumed, Shaya Rog. So, and now he is being consumed day by day. He is becoming lesser in size. So what do? And because he's becoming lesser in size, all the medicinal plants and all the herbs that are there, they all start to diminish and their power goes away. And because of that, the people also start getting consumed, and their minds are affected as well. So they go to the Devas, and the Devas are asking what is to be done. And they go to Daksha. And Daksha says that, okay, now for 15 days he will be saved from this consumption, from this Shaya Rog. And if he takes a bath in the Saraswati river, in the Saraswati Tirtha. So Chandra does this, and therefore we have the waxing and the waning of the moon. So what do we understand from this basically is how the waxing and the waning of our mind, of our emotions happens as well. So in yoga, it's beautiful how we have the connection of the external world and the internal world, the law of correspondence as in the macrocosm. So in the microcosm, so the moon is outside, we also have a Chandrasthan inside. And this is the sthan is basically situated at the palate. So there is a chakra at the back of the head from which oozes a nectar, and that is collected in the palate. And this palate drops the nectar from here and it falls down and is consumed by Agni. And this is the reason that they give us for also why we age and why we become old and why we look old. So to prevent this from happening and to delay this process, we have Viprita Karni and Viprita Asanas, Viprita postures, that is inversions to preserve this, or mudras particularly like Khechari mudra and other many yogic practices that we have to save this nectar. So the Chandra is inside as well, Chandra is within as well. And what is this Chandra? What is this Amrita, this nectar? This nectar is the bliss that arises, the joy that arises when you're in a deep state of meditation and you are recognizing who you really are. You're recognizing your true nature. And there is a healingness, love and compassion flows when you're drinking this nectar of your true nature. So these practices like yoga, meditation, dhyan are some of the practices that are related with the moon. In Indian culture and in world religion as well, we find a lot of practices and rituals that are centered around the moon. And coming from the Vedic source, actually, we find the Jyotish, where they're tracking the movement of the sun, the moon and the planets for the performance of yajna. So yajna plays a central role, and may offerings being made on particular full moon days, different kinds of yajnas being conducted, special yajnas. So these yajnas are to cultivate a sense of inner peace, harmony between man, the earth, God, and the entire movement of the planets. But we also have so many other rituals that are related with the moon, and one of them which I practice is fasting on moon day. Moon day is Somavar. Soma is Chandra, is the moon. So I don't eat the entire day. I have only fruits and water, maybe coconut water. And at night take one meal with salt, no grains, no pulses. And there are certain other things to be followed as well, like basically no rajasic foods, no foods that are very exciting. So sattvic foods, lighter foods, every Monday. And also on days of the full moon and other auspicious days. Other rituals also that are related are offerings that are made to the moon. So on particular full moon days, making an offering of water or milk or some bread with honey or some flowers or to the rising moon. So this is one of the practices. Of course, we can also have moon gazing, that is tratak on the moon. And another practice that is also very powerful and effective is the mantra jap, chanting. So chanting mantras of the moon, mantras, we have many more. So repetition, focusing the mind on that, continuous repetition with bhakti, with faith, one-pointedness and devotion, one can reach the goal. So reaching the goal, diving deep within yourself into states of meditation, dhyan, dharana, samadhi, and accessing that transcendental joy, that happiness, that bliss, that nectar, and allowing the body, the entire body to soak in it, and in this way cultivating love and compassion and happiness towards all beings. We also have other practices related with the moon, and that is the practice of Chandra Namaskar, which is another variation of the Surya Namaskar. So one can practice Chandra Namaskar as well. Also, we have Chandra Bhedan Pranayam. So Chandra Nadi, which is the Nadi on the left side, the left nostril, is related with the moon, and that is the cooling aspect. So when this Nadi is more active or more dominant, then we find more creativity flowing, more connectedness, more coolness in the body. So one can also function and decide one's activities related to understanding how Chandra Nadi works in the body. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching.